First shot.
The 8 of us represent Gator Blacksmithing, a design team of the UF chapter of Material Advantage. For this competition, we chose to make a cross-peen hammer. The project began with a 3D model to get a rough idea of the proportions and design we were aiming for. We intended to make the hammer lightweight without sacrificing striking strength. We began by measuring out a 1.5 by 1.5 by 3 inch 1045 steel base for our hammer, hoping to account for loss throughout the process. We cut down the sample for a very long time, then marked the center points on the top and bottom faces using a drill press. This would be a guide for the eye placement when forging began. Many of us were new to team forging, so it was crucial to carefully plan out the sequence of events and make sure we didn't damage our workpiece. Once everyone knew their roles and the routes they needed to take around the forge, the team did a few practice runs, and then we were off. The first step was to create the eye of the hammer using a 10mm round punch. To keep the punch from getting stuck inside the workpiece, we dipped it in water and coated it in coal dust to act as a lubricant. This process would result in us knocking out a metal plug and creating a hole through the workpiece. However, it could be very time-consuming and...
Oh, it's done. It's good. Oh wow.
With the plug removed, we then had to drift the eye into an hourglass shape. This will become useful later when securing the handles of the head. During this step, the sides of the workpiece had to be flattened down, both to form this hourglass shape and to prevent bulging. The next step was drawing out the angled peen of the workpiece. 2 strikers formed the angle using hammers to move the bulk of the material before switching to a flatter to smooth down the surface. We then used a belt grinder to remove the forge scale before advancing to the next step. Next, we squared the face of the workpiece. The edges were rounded off for a cleaner striking surface and to decrease the stress concentration in this area. For the last step in the forge, we needed to flatten the sides once again. With the forging completed, we moved on to grinding, which would remove more forge scale, flatten the surfaces, and fix small asymmetries that develop during forging. The heat treatment began with a normalizing cycle at 850 degrees Celsius for 2 hours, which made the microstructure consistent throughout the workpiece, followed by quenching in, of course, red Gatorade. Not only do the salt and sugar speed up the quenching process, but it also represents our university and looks really cool. The hammerhead now had a martensite microstructure. However, martensite is too hard for use in a cross-peen hammer, so we need to temper it. We tested 2 smaller pieces from our stock metal and determined that 300 degrees Celsius for 2 hours would be ideal for reducing the hardness, relieving stresses, and giving the steel a blue finish. We chose orange heartwood for our handle because of its high hardness and appropriate color for complementing our hammerhead. We carved out the shape using a Shinto rasp, then split the top of the handle and inserted a wedge where it ran through the hourglass-shaped eye. This design should keep the head firmly attached to the handle. The wood was coated with linseed oil to seal it and bring out its natural color. And with that, the subjugator was completed. This was an exciting first project for us, and we learned a lot about team forging in the process. We hope to continue growing as a team and improving our technique using the knowledge we gained from this project. We would like to thank the faculty and staff of the University of Florida MSc Department for all of their help and support. Thanks for watching.